Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Basement Card Collector. Today's video is going to be a video response. A video response for our new friend Joe over at Four Soft Corners. He's having a VR to celebrate his 100th video and his soon to be 1 year of making content on YouTube. Congratulations, Joe. I'm new to his channel. Maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I came across his channel because of another VR, and I've heard his name mentioned several times, and I've watched tons of VRs for this very contest, and we've been commenting back and forth. I'm gonna make a video. Finally today, I'm gonna make a video to celebrate Joe and his 100 videos and his 1 year. And I knew right away what I would be using for my topic for this video. It just took me forever to get to it. So Joe, thank you for the contest. Congratulations on the 100/1 year on YouTube. You're almost to 300 subs, I see. And no, congratulations. And let me tell you what we're going to celebrate on my video response for your contest. So here we go. You can see my backdrop here. I'm a big Chicago Cubs fan. I was born in 1979, and so when I was just starting to collect, it was 1989, and they were pretty good. They got beat by the Giants to go to the World Series, and I thought, I live in Indiana. The Cubs are always on this great channel called WGN, and my favorite player is Andre Dawson. This team, the Cubs, they must win a lot. They must win all the time. And so fast forward to today, the Cubs last won a World Series in 1908. Okay, but if you look at 1908 specifically, the year before, they had also won the World Series. They were back-to-back World Series champs, and then also they lost in 1906. So they were 1 series win from winning 3 in a row, 06, 07, and 08. And I don't mean 2000, 1906, 1907, 1908. But they did win 2. Over those years, from back then to current, they've won 17 pennants. They were in a Little World Series with a guy named Babe Ruth when the so-called called shot happened. That happened at Wrigley Field. So the Yankees won that World Series. So if you fast forward to 2016, we were lucky enough to win the World Series in my lifetime. And so this video, we're just going to look at a little set here. I actually bought this for myself, and you can see it's still sealed. 2016 World Series Champs limited edition set. We also bought 3 more for my kids, and they collected cards for a minute. Mine is still sealed. You can see here's the cup that they gave away. It had some nice refreshment. That was after that season, of course, but I have a couple of those. We went to a baseball game the season after, and they were giving away these snow globes with the World Series kind of bus parade going through. And they gave those out to the first so many, 10,000 fans or whatever the number was. But inside that set, as we were just saying, my cards are still sealed. So my son actually opened his up that same day and put his into a binder. So what I have for our celebration video is I'd like to just kind of walk you through those 7 games of the 2016 World Series from the Cubs perspective. All the stars aligned in 2016, and they played the team from Cleveland, the Cleveland Indians/Guardians. And Cleveland had the home field advantage, so first 2 games were in Cleveland. And I just have some of the cards from this set. We're just going to kind of pick up on some of the highlights. Here's Big Jake Arrieta. This would be a game 2, but he took a no-hitter into the 6th inning, and Jake Arrieta in those 2 years were as hot as they come. Cy Young Award winner, a couple no-hitters in there, and just was a big game pitcher. So he was going, he actually got the win in game 2. The Cleveland team did win game 1 6-0, and that was pretty disheartening to finally get to World Series and then not to score a run. So they left game 1 at Cleveland being down 1 game. So Big Jake comes, he's a starter for game 2, shuts them down pretty handily. Like I said, no hitter almost. They win game 2. Here's Mr. Anthony Rizzo. He has also moved on to another team, but he was a fairly young leader there of those Cubbies in 2016. He has a double here. You can see kind of get some runs on the board. And then a very young Mr. Kyle Schwarber. He had hurt his knee and missed the entire season basically and came back to start in this World Series. And so here he is, a youngster right away, knocks in some ribbies, just as a super young Cubby for us. Game 3, where the series is tied 1-1, and we're coming to Chicago. And this is a really cool photo of Wrigley Field and the sign. If I can get that to come in focus there. It says Indians versus Cubs, World Series Game 3. And you can see the people are just packed in there. Love that picture. Game 3, it was a pitcher's duel. The wrong team won 1-0, and therefore we're down 2-1, but we're still at home. We go to game 4. Game 4 is actually a little special for me. I'll just use this same photo. Game 4, my family and we actually snuck up to a game. We could not afford tickets, sadly, but my wife, my 3 kids, we went up and we were basically in this photo on the next night for game 4. The good guys did lose 7-2, which was kind of a bummer because that makes us down 3-1. I'm thinking, great, they finally made a World Series and they're going to get, one win out of this thing and go down and lose 4-1. It's kind of what the vibe was. But my family in this photo is exactly what it looked like. You couldn't move. The streets around Wrigley Field, if you've been there, or I'm assuming other stadiums are similar, they had police shoulder to shoulder wearing their bright yellow vests that wrapped the entire stadium. Seriously, this picture is exactly what it looked like. You couldn't move without bumping into somebody. And my family and we went up there and just enjoyed the atmosphere from the outside. You could watch the TVs. People had TVs on their porches, and so we actually watched some of the game. You could hear it behind you and then also see the game on the TV screen in front of you. We just walked down the street and watched a few different innings on different people's TVs in the streets. So that was really cool. We also managed to find MLB Network. They were broadcasting live in a corner of the stadium, basically. So we did get to. We were on the backdrop. It was, what's his name now? Al Leiter. You could see up in a little higher up than us, there was Frank Thomas and A-Rod, Pete Rose doing the pregame. It was just really cool to be there, and we didn't get in to see the game, but we could hear the game, it was just really cool. So game 4, Cubbies lose 7-2, and we're down 3-1, and the hopes are low. So we go back to Chicago for game 5. The Cubbies pull out a win 3-2, and there's a little bit of hope. 3-2. Now we still got to win 2 more, but now the problem is we're going back to Cleveland. And game 6, here's a big hero of those playoffs, Addison Russell. He had a huge night, very young. He came over from the A's in a big trade, big free agent trade. He was super young, great hitter for a season or 2, and here he is with a really cool card in this set. Oh, here's a little Mr. Chris Bryant home run. This was from game 5. This actually came out of order there, but Chris Bryant, another Cubby, brought up young with Schwarber, with Russell. They had a great farm system, just kept churning them up. Rizzo, of course, Mr. Bryant here. We win game 6 in Cleveland 9-3, which brings up the dramatic game 7, okay, in Cleveland. And how we started this game off, Game 7. Dexter Fowler, a great pickup, brought him over, and he was a great leadoff man, switch hitter, could run a little bit, really set the table well for them. He led off the game with a home run, which was like amazing. Game 7, we have a run right off the bat. Later on in that game, before it got really crazy, our current manager, Mr. David Ross, he comes up with a huge home run. Great leader. I mean, look at the guys on the dugout. You just don't get any better than that. We're talking it's 3-3. It's Game 7. It's a leader of just these young guys, and the Cubs had some of those veterans like that. David Ross, he's now the manager, like we said, but a great leader even back then. Well, Game 7 ends with the good guys in 10 innings celebrating kind of like this. It was a ground ball to Bryant at third. He whips it over to Mr. Rizzo at first, and that's how it ends. And the Cubs break the streak of 108 years, and it was amazing. Young guys, old guys, the curse, as they say, the Cats, the 1969, the 1984, the 1989, all of these things, they all came to a close in 2016. And so for a celebration photo, this is the card I instantly thought of for Joe's VR. And we just have a couple cards here. Mr. Jason Hayward, he signed a big contract and relatively underperformed, but there was a rain delay in that last inning of Game 7, and it was he that kind of brought the guys together and said, relax, we can do this. And they came out of that short delay, and Hayward was typically said to be the guy that gave the speech of, guys, let's get it together, we're okay. And I have a couple cards here of just cards from that set also. We'll just kind of quickly flip through them. Here is a young rookie card from Mr. Schwarbs. Here is another youngster that they got in. They had a great farm system for a while. They've pumped all these guys up. They were all kind of hitting their peak at the same time. Wilson Contreras, he is now also moved on. Here again, here's a Rizzo. We had a very young Baez who also had come up through the system. There's Mr. Chris again. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better start out of his career. Rookie of the Year, MVP, World Series, All-Star, all the things. Now he's also moved on, sadly. Here was a veteran that they brought over, Ben Zobrist. He had also won the World Series in 2015 with the Royals, so he was actually back-to-back champ. He got the big hit that gave him the MVP award for 2016. I got two Mr. Zobrist just because what a great photo. Big Ben, great utility man all over the place, and just was clutch and had probably one of the most clutch hits ever in Chicago history. Here we got Mr. Chris Bryant with the trophy, kind of celebrating that day. And we got a big picture of Mr. John Lust. We brought him over from Boston. And so some youngsters, some vets, and it just all came together in 2016. We're gonna get Mr. Ben up here for a celebratory photo for sure. So for Joe and his VR, and he's celebrating a couple big milestones, the 100 videos, the 1 year anniversary of him making the videos, and I just want to say congrats on the success. Love watching your channel, and if you don't know Joe's channel already, I'll leave a link here. Just want to say congratulations one more time to Joe, and this 2016 will just be a year. Hopefully we can have some more of these to celebrate, but for sure, going from 1908 to 2016, that's a long time, everybody. That's a long time. The longest in American sports, actually, was broken there in 2016, and that was a great celebration, a great team. They've now moved on, sadly, but there you go, Joe. Congratulations. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.